I'm back! I'm back! I'm back! Get up off of that thing and dance to you better. Get up off of that thing and dance to you. Sing it now. Get up off of that thing and dance to you better. Get up off of that thing. Try to leave that pressure.
Okay, good afternoon. This is Peter Van Dyke in for Greg Russell today. And a little introduction of myself. I'm CEO of Van Dyke Horn, a public relations firm based in Detroit for the past 20 years. And we like to think that we provide a great impact to the city of Detroit, the residents, and this region through the work of our clients. One of those clients being Detroit Future City. Many of you are aware of this. Many of you listeners are aware of the organization through their robust planning effort they had that ended in 2012 with the release of the Detroit Strategic Framework Plan. And now the organization has launched a new strategic plan that is really focused on data and how to deliver those data and resources to residents of Detroit in equitable ways. And with us today in the studio, we have a number of guests from national experts on land and water to local experts, both in Detroit and from across the state, talking about a summit they have coming up on March 21st through a coalition, the Land and Water Works Coalition, which is a coalition of 9 local nonprofits, all focused on land and water and how we can help Detroit residents be good stewards of their land and water. So in the studio right now, we have 3 guests. We have Nicole Brown and Sarah from Detroit Future City, as well as Irma Leapart, correct? From Sierra Club. So I'm just going to go around and ask all of us to kind of give a brief introduction of who you are and what your role is with your organization. I'll start to my left over here with Nicole Brown. So let us know what's your role with Detroit Future City, and there's a brief introduction of some of the things that Detroit Future City is doing right now.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Peter. So my name is Nicole Brown. I am currently the Sustainable Landscapes Manager for Detroit Future City, and then I have the great honor and pleasure of being the Program Manager for the Land and Water Works Coalition, and we are excited to be the convener of 9 different amazing organizations that are all doing really great and unique work in the city, and be able to thread all of the work that we're doing together through the lens of land and water stewardship for the residents of the city of Detroit. And so this really fits in nicely with a lot of the work that we're doing around land use and sustainability. And most recently, our Green Culture Shift Special Report, authored by our very own Director of Land Use and Sustainability, Victoria Olivier.
Great. And can you give our listeners just a quick overview of what the Green Culture Shift kind of value is? What are you guys looking at doing? And I know Land and Water Works is a piece of that. Mm-hmm. But from Detroit Future City standpoint, what is the Green Culture Shift, and what are you looking to achieve for Detroiters through the Green Culture Shift?
Yeah, so when we think about a green culture shift in the city of Detroit, one of the things to look at is that the city of Detroit currently has over 24 miles of vacant land, and on track with the demolition that's currently happening across the city with housing structures and multifamily units that do indeed need to come down. We are looking at a projected increase in vacant land throughout the city of over 30 miles. And so that really offers us the unique and unprecedented opportunity to really consider and be thoughtful about, one, how the city is redeveloped, and then how do we incorporate open space and really develop a networked open space plan for the city of Detroit. And so for us, we look at how does that include green stormwater infrastructure elements into that, as well as a myriad of other ways that we look at how do we actively use our vacant land and really value it as a community asset.
Great. And speaking of green stormwater infrastructure, which we are going to define what that is right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely a jargon term that many people in the industry use, but probably many Detroiters don't maybe fully understand what it is and how it can benefit them, which is going to be talked about a lot over the next couple of hours as we talk about land and water and how they work together. So Sarah, you are probably one of the newest members of Detroit Future City, and your title is Stormwater Innovation Manager. So tell us a little bit about what that is and what you have been brought to the team at Detroit Future City to do.
Yeah, my name is Sarah Hiash, and I support the Land and Water Works Coalition with some of the technical aspects around the education for our ambassador program and just for the general public to learn more about stormwater infrastructure. And then I also support our Working with Lots field guide program, where we are this year supporting 10 community organizations, churches, and small businesses to implement vacant land treatments to improve their community. And 5 of them are specifically focused on managing green stormwater infrastructure.
Fantastic. And Irma, you are with the Sierra Club as the Michigan chapter lead. And you are one of the members of the 9 members of the coalition under the Land and Waterworks Coalition that's being led by Detroit Future City. So can you tell me a little bit about what the Sierra Club is and what kind of work you're doing, specifically in Detroit, but across the state as well, and then kind of what Sierra Club is bringing to the table with the coalition?
Okay. Thank you, Peter. The Sierra Club has a Great Lakes program, and that's the program that I am involved in, and with my coworker, Quentin Turner. And our focus is on protecting the Great Lakes. We are a city that sits on the Detroit River, and we also have access to the Rouge River. And we know from our past how vital the rivers are and our waterways are to our industry and economy. But right now, our rivers and our Great Lakes are under threat. And so from a variety of things. And the thing that we're focused most on here in Detroit is the problem with combined sewer overflows. So what happens is when you have these really large storms like we had, I believe it was in 2014, where there was flooding in the streets and basement backups. This occurs when we have an exceptionally large rain event, and we're having more of those because of climate change. So the Sierra Club Great Lakes program is focused on implementing the green infrastructure that you've talked about, or green stormwater infrastructure, as a way to mitigate or lessen the impact of those heavy rain events. If people are residents and businesses are capturing that stormwater, it keeps it out of our combined sewer system, and will help to prevent the combined sewer overflows that are polluting our waters. You know, I like to talk about how the Great Lakes are 25% of the world's fresh surface water, so we have an obligation to protect them.
That's great. And, we want to encourage Detroiters and everybody from the region to call in. We have the top experts of land and water in Detroit and the region here in the studio with us. So if you'd like to call in, please dial 313-778-7600, and we'd love to take your calls and answer your questions. So Irma, can you let me know, so what exactly are you doing with the coalition? What's the Sierra Club's role with the coalition? And how are you involved in the summit coming up on March 21st?
So our involvement is with both educating people about the value of our water and our the water quality and the role that people can play, residents and others can play. So the education, writing curriculum for the ambassadors, the ambassador program. This is where we have residents as well as nonprofits who are educating others about the values of the land and water campaign that Nicole spoke about. And we're also with the Friends of the Rouge as the lead, implementing we're going to conduct rain garden workshops and also install 7 rain gardens, one each in each of the 7 city council districts. And we're really looking forward to that because people get excited. A rain garden essentially is something where you disconnect a downspout and the storm water flows into the rain garden, capturing it and keeping it out of our storm drains.
Fantastic. We're going to take a quick break from talking with the local conversation and go to a bit of a national conversation. We have Mark Camarada on the phone right now, and he is a Deputy Commissioner of the Planning and Environmental Services Department for the Philadelphia Water Department. And he is coming in as a guest speaker on March 21st at the Land and Waterworks Summit. I will mention, if you are interested in attending the Land and Waterworks Summit, make sure to visit DetroitFutureCity.com. There's information on the website about that, as well as the websites of many of our coalition members, who you'll hear over the next hour and a half or so. So Mark, welcome to the 910 Super Station.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to